Then why didn't the weaker agents jump on board?
Because they saw the existing members as the enemy.
So they were worried they were getting into bed with the enemy.
They just said, and I understand it now as well, they're like, the guys you got as your founding members don't represent the industry as a whole because they're okay. They can afford their portal fees. They're in London. They're market-leading guys with successful businesses who don't struggle. These guys don't know what it's like.
So your original, not mentioning names, your original founding members were probably 5, 6, 7, 10 branch
No. None of them. They were all single ones, but they were all
at the top of the tree.
They were just the more progressive guys, the ones who really, really invest that extra effort and time and money into being higher tech and having a bigger brand and that kind of stuff.
So why didn't the middle ones and should we say the lower ones? They were just genuinely afraid that the big boys.
I think they saw, and I now completely accept this. I think they saw this as just yet another club for those guys.
But that means that the smaller agents, the ones that are struggling to run a business, haven't got a voice.
Correct. But it was impossible. CEILA couldn't become their voice because...
Should that be Arla's job? Or
well, that's a good question. Let me come on to that. But one of the things that I discovered was, although independent agents generally find that corporates and onlines are a challenge, by far their biggest everyday challenge is the other independents in their stream. Those are the guys they're actually up against.
Yes,
and
the
so
day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, and then this isn't news to anybody, right? People have said before, the reason no one's done it is because you'll never get these guys to work together, herding cats, etc., etc. And I kind of see that. It's a shame because they represent the vast majority of the industry. I mean, they're 80% plus are small owner-managed independents. And if they did get together, they could knock everyone else out of the park. But I understand why they're not going to.
Do you think that was the same reason why On the Market didn't work? And again,
No.
I know it's...
There's one single reason I predicted 4 years ago as to why it didn't work.
Go on.
I'm referring to an article I wrote, which was quite a damning article because the founding members of On the Market claimed that they were doing it so that independent agents could save money on portal fees.
That was their intent. I'm a firm believer. Sorry, that was their published intent.
Thank you. That's their published intent. Now, that means that the likes of these big brands were sitting there going, how can we help our smaller competitors? Let's all get together and do something to help all of our smaller competitors so that their portal fees go down. Should we all do that? Yeah, let's all do that. Come on, let's ask big brands get together and set this up just to help the small guys cut portal fees.
That was the published story.
Right.
Why? What did you think then?
Oh, I heard firsthand from some of the individuals involved what the story was, which was that they were seeing how much money was being made by Rightmove and Zoopla on the back of the amount of data they've got. And they're like, we don't like those guys making all the money out of our data. And if we get together and do it, we'll have that value and we'll have control of our own data. Now, that's an argument I do get, right? At the moment, Rightmove and Zoopla are happily making very large sums of money off the back of the agent's data, primarily because of the agent's failure to get together and organise. They've tried it before with prime location, sold it off early. But On the Market's really big mistake because it had a great chance, actually. But I will never understand how the board of On the Market signed off the idea of the one of the portal rule. How, in the internet age, when you understand the whole point of the internet is freedom and a democratic approach and the opposite of protectionism, how they ever conceived that was going to work. I mean, the list of reasons why that was a disastrous idea.
Do you think that was the main, apart from the intent, do you think that was the biggest reason why On the Market didn't take off?
I'm absolutely certain of it because of the number of agents I spoke to who said that was the reason. You know, they all said, if you're a small agent, I'm on Rightmove and I'm on Zoopla, and I get a viable number of leads from both of those to justify paying their fees.
Yes.
So in order for me to go onto On the Market, I have to take a short-term hit on my business. That's too much to ask from a small agent.
What they were saying was they don't mind spending a couple £100 extra a month on the market fees. That they were prepared to invest on that it wasn't a case of saving a few £100 on the Zoopla or many hundreds for Rightmove. You think that was the key?
I'm absolutely certain of it. If you track how many of your deals come from Rightmove or Zoopla, and you see that maybe even if it was an extreme 80-20, if 20% of your business is coming from one or other of those portals,
Yes.
and you're asked to give up that 20% of your business, who's going to give up 20% of the business?
No one.
For a portal that's going to take, first of all, 2 years before it even launches, and then however long it's going to take to actually get traction, when they never had a strategy for the single most important achievement of any portal, which is to have as much property on it as the competitors. Because if you don't, the consumer's got no reason to go there.
I thought their attitude was get it on the market for the first 24 hours. That was their mantra.
I know. And if you are buying or selling a house, how long does that process take you from start to finish?
Months.
Right. What difference does 24 hours make?
True.
Who gives? That's not important enough to anybody to make a difference.
Made a difference probably in London in probably 2013-14 when it was booming.
Right.
But again, this is a national portal. Do you think on the market will succeed now?
Well, they're offering free listings now for a year or something. They definitely have the potential to succeed, but sadly, based on their approach to their actual product, their portal, okay, where they're not attempting to do anything new or innovative that adds genuine value to the consumer, even if they become a really well-known brand with their TV advertising and everything else, what's the reason people should go there first instead of Rightmove or Zoopla? There isn't one yet that I'm aware of. And I'm not...
I mean, what could they do? I mean, do you think it's too early for VR? Do you think the customers will want VR?
VR is absolutely irrelevant. VR is a fun icing on the cake, right? But an applicant's job online, the only thing they want to do is to shortlist properties to go and view.
Okay.
Which is quick, yes, no, yes, no, yes. They don't stop and start going through lots of stuff.
So what could a portal do, do you think, to make a difference?
Okay.
Book viewings directly online?
Number one. Because that is the only thing a visitor to a portal actually wants to do. If you're a genuine mover, rather than a tyre-kicking window shopper...
Because we want to look at our neighbour's property that's just come on the market.
Yeah, fine. But you don't do that all day, every day. The point is,
Yeah,
the agents
aren't
need
going
to move.
The agents aren't going to let Rightmove and Zoopla through their database, are they?
Precisely the point. And that's why they're not allowing any value to be added to the moving consumer. So Rightmove publishes the fact that up to 40% of its inquiries go unanswered. That's a staggering statistic if you think about it. So imagine that experience as an applicant. I'm a genuine mover. I've got my money. I need to move. I'm on Rightmove. I'm filling out forms, and you're making me fill out a form every time to put an inquiry, right? Which, by the way, went out 5 years ago. Consumers do not expect to fill out forms unless it's for a one-off purchase. And even then, they want to be able to go click, check out. You have to fill out a form, send off your inquiry, and hope that you'll hear back.
Well, 40% don't, do they?
Well, and actually, if you look at the distribution across the values, if you're at the high end of the market, yeah, you're going to get a response. Right? If you're an applicant for £1 million property, you're likely to get a response. If you're an applicant for a £150,000 property, you're not as likely to get a response. So it's more than 40% chance you won't hear back. And from people I know currently looking for properties, they're going, it's a nightmare. I go onto the portals, but basically, unless I call an agent direct,